Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth Pregame.
Hey, is this thing on? Hello, testing.
No debate, cause it's all. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant. Slay the competition, cause I'm walking like a giant.
What's up, Twitter world? There's my little OJ.
He's got an autographed OJ photo.
Has anybody heard the story about the Glizzy guy?
He fits today's generation. Like,
Oh yeah, speaking of lady basketball players, Lola Bunny, bonkable. Yes or no?
Sorry, folks, my screen went blank for a second because apparently having two monitors makes my laptop go a little crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Korner Booth Pregame. It's Thursday. Welcome back in. We hope you had a great week. We're happy to be back after a 2-week hiatus on our Thursday show. We've got a fun show tonight. We're breaking down, not only are we talking about what the hell that NBA draft thing was. I didn't even know the draft was last night until I got an update at about, I'd say halfway through the first round, that like Ace Bailey went to the Jazz. And I'm like, wait, didn't he like try to tank his workouts? It was a whole thing. We also got MLB news. We got a little NFL. We might have a little NFL stuff. We'll see. And of course, we have a Korner Booth draft. And we have a guest of ours who I didn't put that much on our docket because he's my guy and I know him and we can get him going on a rant. It'll carry us for 35 minutes. So without further ado, of course, is my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matt or Daza. Matty, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Last night's NBA draft, the first round was probably the most I've watched of an NBA draft before. And I'm just sitting there and they had this nice heartfelt story for these players. And all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, you find out that the rights for that draft pick was traded to another team. And I'm sitting there like, what? This kid's just life's mission was just granted. We're like, all right, we're trading you. And then even the announcer was like, one of the guys on the panel was like, what? I was like, yeah, same. I was my first experience with an actual full-on an NBA first round. A little bit of a culture shock because a lot of just draft pick trades. Like you draft a guy and then you trade him to the next team for their pick.
You know what is wild to me about the whole thing, and I want to get our guest opinion on this, obviously, because I have been very critical of the NBA this year. I think they've honestly dropped the ball. I think baseball is catching up to them so fast, and it's really scary. And I had guys who I was on Xbox last night, a couple buddies of mine from Canada. They're huge basketball fans and huge hockey fans. And they're like, Jared, you're right. Baseball is catching them, but so is hockey. And I'm like, that's not good. The NBA had the sports world in the chokehold. People were talking 2 years ago, or maybe not 2 years ago, maybe like 5-10 years ago during like the Curry, LeBron rivalry era, where possibly the NBA could catch the NFL in a couple years. Now Adam Silver has completely shot that to hell. So we'll talk about it in a second. Also, my producer Nate's here. Nate, what up, buddy?
hi. How's it going, boss? Good to see you. Good to see you, Matt, as well.
We see the compilation video of all of his intro highs.
Hi.
Oh, man, I could back
Oh, man,
that.
I just want the Dark Side Nate intros where he basically just looks like somebody shot his puppy. He's like, hi.
Dude, I'm telling you, just wait till September, man. I'm
Just
telling
wait till
you.
Giants. Just wait till the Giants.
Just
season
wait till
starts.
September. Enjoy the happiness now, because when September rolls around, it's going to be hoodie Nate, all those things, man.
Well, listen, September brings a lot of joy for our guest. He is not only one of the superstars of Gump Twitter, he's the father of one of the best dogs on the planet, Mr. Mac. He is a content creator, an Antonio Brown helmet tweet superstar, and one of the most genuine people I know. Ladies and gentlemen, University of Alabama alumni, Gump Twitter superstar, and friend of the show, Cruz Oxenrider.
What's up, guys? Long time
Roll
no see.
Tide! Roll
What's
Tide!
up, brother?
Oh, baby.
High tide, Cruz.
What's up, guys? It's good to see you guys.
What's up, brother? Oh, listen, I did promise you at Kevin's wedding, me and his best man would yell high tide. And we did it during Dixieland Delight, which was the funniest thing. Like, people were losing their mind. Because I just saw the disappointment and sadness on Kevin's face for about 10 seconds, and they realized he was getting married, so he was okay. But
no, it's good to be back. It's we're what is it? We are 65 days away from week 1 for Alabama. Feeling pretty good.
Yeah, by the way, if you want a good countdown, follow Cruz on TikTok. I'm getting a daily countdown to when Alabama absolutely delivers the woodshed to Florida State. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fantastic. August 30th, Tallahassee, Florida. We're gonna see a live murder on television.
Please burn that heathenistic shithole to the ground, please. Thank you.
Well, so I'm funny enough. I'm actually not going to the game. I hate Tallahassee with a passion. You know this. I will be at Ohio State, Texas, week 1 in Columbus.
Oh, Corso's last game. Holy smokes!
Yeah. So I'll be at Corso's last college game day. I will be. I got a really good opportunity that I get to share in a couple weeks. I will be on the field for pregame for the game, and then I will be going to Columbus for the first time. Never been to Columbus, Ohio. Never been to Ohio State.
It's a blast.
It's going to be it's like game of the year potential in week 1. Mm-hmm. Julian Sayin versus Arch Manning, Ryan Day versus
that's
Sarge.
Starting. So Julian Sayin is going to start, right?
That's just a hypothetical. Like right now, I talked to a buddy of mine who's big into Ohio State, and right now he's kind of leaning towards that way. But anything could happen at this point.
College football is, everyone always talks about how the NFL, depth charts are never set in stone. College football is even crazier because I remember it was 3 years ago when we didn't even think CJ Stroud was going to start for 4 years ago, 2021. Yeah. We didn't think Stroud was going to start for Ohio State, and out of nowhere he does, and he was honestly struggling. He lost to Anthony Brown.
He almost got benched. I mean,
I know now he's an NFL superstar. So it's kind of like it's.
Okay, let's calm down on Superstar.
He's good. He's a top 15 quarterback talent-wise in the NFL.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd still take Bryce over him.
Listen, honestly, on upside, Bryce finished the year better.
Yeah, I mean, the way that
I texted you and Kevin, I was like, fellas, I'm not going to lie. The kids weren't me over, and this was after he almost beat us on our way to a Super Bowl victory.
I'm telling you, and I had this debate actually last night, watching the NBA draft, we were chatting. I said that if you put CJ in the same situation Bryce was in when he first got drafted,
he's done.
We would not be having these conversations, and it'd be vice versa with Bryce being in Houston, which originally I thought he should have gone to. I thought D'Amico Ryans was going to find a way to get him. But honestly, I'm happy for it. But CJ, again, no disrespect, CJ. I think CJ Stroud's a stud, but I think Bryce is clearly better in college, in high school, and in the pros.
You saw our clip. I'm convinced that the Texans are trying to kill him. So, I mean, you trade. Yeah, I mean, listen, you gave up tons. I mean, listen, I had a Texans fan rip me a new one saying, "Oh, all the false starts on Tunsil and Keon Green is a project." I'm like, yeah, he's a year and a half into the league, man. Like, what do you want him to be? Not all linemen come out and play like freaking Lane Johnson. That's not what happens. There's a reason that like linemen are a progression oriented position. And the problem is
you know as well as I do, especially in like today's age, there is no waiting anymore. There really is not.
I mean,
if you spend that kind of money on a guy or that kind of capital on a guy, you expect him to deliver like that. I mean, unfortunately the days, even in college now, like it's like, for example, guys who come in from the transfer portal or recruits or things like that, like if you don't play them, they might transfer.
Well, look at my situation. Look at my situation down in Coral Gables, where we waited 3 years for Emory Williams to be this guy, and he not only gets beat out. Well, obviously Cam Ward was that guy, right? We brought in Emory, like, hey, listen, maybe we don't have to go get a quarterback in the portal. Maybe Emory can take over. He lost us that ball game against Iowa State.
Yeah,
he was that bad.
Oh yeah, he was awful. I mean,
everyone's like, and I went to
I feel bad for you this year. I feel bad for you this year with Beck.
Here's the thing about Beck. He doesn't have to be elite. He doesn't have to be even great. He just has to be not awful. And we'll probably win 10 games because our roster is that much better than it was last year. So the biggest thing about Beck is when Beck has actual good talent around him offensively, he's not an awful quarterback. He's honestly pretty decent. And what we've had in my
he's a watered down AJ McCarron. Like
which is fine.
He's not good.
Fine. Listen, I think Beck is a more mobile AJ McCarron, though. I think the biggest problem with Carson Beck was he can move. And here's the thing about Miami's offense with Miami's offense, and for some reason, Shannon Dawson. I couldn't remember his offensive OC's name for a second. Shannon Dawson. The fact that he is not a head coach somewhere is scary because that dude is up there when it comes to QB turnarounds. He convinced the entire nation for a year that Tyler Van Dyke was a good quarterback.
I haven't heard in a while.
Oh yeah, listen, don't get me started about Tyler Van Doofus. I actually watched his last game. Me and Kevin were live at BC watching his last game as a Hurricane, and he was okay against an awful BC defense. This is pre-Bill O'Brien. And so we watched him smoke BC's defense. 80% of it was, the running backs just running wild through their awful front seven. But he also was able to help Cam Ward progress from what was going to be a 5th round pick to I don't give a crap about how good the draft class was for quarterbacks. Cam Ward was unbelievable this year.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He was great.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He was unbelievable. And you know what? Yes, a lot of it was his talent, but also a lot of it was Shannon Dawson finding the best positions to put him in. And what is the best thing Carson Beck is good at? Play action passing, quick 1-2 reads, be able to move around in the pocket. Oh, Max in the building. And allowing him to use his athleticism and simplify the throws to 1 to 2 to 3 options. I don't need him to be a quarterback prospect in the NFL. I need him to just win games in college. I don't care. This isn't where Cam Ward, where I got to prove a point. This is right now, hey, we've got a good receiving core, elite running backs, a good offensive line, and our defense actually has guys that are older than the age of 18 on it. So let's do something with it. That's where I live because I'm tired of hearing about how Cade Klubnik and Clemson are going to be this elite team in the ACC, and I watched them stumble through the conference last year.
I mean, you're missing out. The reason why they're going to be so good is that defense is absolutely incredible. They have probably the 2 best.
They have 4 first-round linemen.
They have probably the 2 best defensive linemen. I would say they probably have the 2nd best linebacker, and they probably have top 3.
There's a really good corner on that team too.
They are going to. I'll put it like this: I'm so confident in Clemson this year that I think they cakewalk through the ACC. I think they beat the hell out of LSU week 1, and I think they lock up a top 3 seed in the college football playoffs. That's how high I am on Clemson this year because schedule is good. I don't believe in LSU and Nuss. I think they are going to. I think this is Brian Kelly's last year at LSU.
You made Matt's night because Matt's a Tigers fan, so he's loving
Tigers.
I'm telling you, I think Brian Kelly and Nuss are probably the most overrated team going into college football this year. I think Nuss is right now. I project them to probably be around the 6 spots, maybe 7 at the highest. They're going to be a top 10 team easy.
We do this every year.
But here's the thing: I went back. I watched LSU last year. In ranked games against Nuss against ranked opponents had an 8-8 touchdown interception ratio, and he was 1-3 in those games. And the only reason he won one was a Lane Kiffin masterclass show. I think Gus he's Jarrett Lee. He's I'm trying to think who else. He's a
that's a guy.
Who's the other one that they had? Danny Etling. He's not that guy, and everyone's obsessed with him just because of who his dad is. Like, I've never thought he's been that good.
Who's his dad?
No Spire, the OC at the New Orleans Saints.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I'm like,
Doug Nussmeier. Right? But yeah, so like I'm fully like I looked at their schedule. I think they lose week 1 to Clemson in a blowout. I don't even think it's gonna be close. I think LSU defensively, I mean, yeah, on paper they look better, but I got to see it to believe it because I've heard the same thing for about 4 years. I think they lose to Florida. I think Florida is going to be the dark horse everyone is scared of this year with DJ Lagway. They're going to lose to Ole Miss, and they're going to lose to Bama. I got them losing 4 games.
You know what? I'm already expecting them to go like 6-2, 7-2, and then blow the last handful out and just miss that bowl game. And like how last year where they lost to Alabama, and then they were a lifeline, and then they just got smoked by under 500 Florida.
If they would have lost to Vanderbilt, which I mean, for a little bit, Vandy was given a run for the money. I think they would have pulled the trigger and fired Brian Kelly. And like Oklahoma is going to be good this year too. Like I think a lot of people are sleeping on Oklahoma. Second year, I think. I think Ole Miss with Austin Simmons is going to be a lot better. I think Austin Simmons is going to unlock this offense from a dual threat perspective. I think he's a very dangerous runner. I thought when Jackson Dart got hurt against Georgia, he actually went down, led the opening drive for a touchdown. I think Lane is going to be able to open up the playbook a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying Ole Miss is a playoff team, but I think that they're
going to find their way to be a good New Year's Six team.
I think so. I mean, look, this SEC is wide open this year. I mean, I know everyone's high on Texas. I think Bama with their defense. I think Bama's going to have the second best defense in all of college football. Again, I got to see what I see from Ty. I like Florida this year. I think they're going to be good. I like Ole Miss. Tennessee, I want to see if that defense is going to be as good as it was last year. With quarterback, I'm not really sure. Georgia, what are they going to do? I mean, obviously, this is probably the first time that Kirby has had this question mark of, is this the rebuild or the reload? Because he's had stability at QB the last couple of years, especially with Ben.
Right? He started with second year Fromm, and that's where he took over from Richt, and then went over.
He got Fromm first year, so he got Fromm as a true freshman, and they got Fromm for 3 years. Then he went to then he had the mailman / JT Daniels for a little bit. Then he goes right into Carson Beck, who sat and waited his turn. He plays 2 years. Gunnar Stockton. It didn't impress me in the SEC championship game against Texas. Didn't impress me against Notre Dame. And I know everyone's like, oh, but the receivers, this and that. Yeah, I get it. Don't get me wrong.
Beck looked better with those receivers than Stockton did.
I mean, look, I saw the same receivers catch everything they could in that comeback against Bama. I know they got some new guys coming in. Zachariah Branch, transfer from USC, is going to be a stud. But I'm not a big fan of what they've lost on the offensive line. They lost their leader in their center. They lost some dudes to the NFL. Of course they did. Running back, are they going to be better? Georgia is the biggest what if, and we're going to learn about Georgia a lot. Week 3 against Tennessee. They play in Knoxville week 3, then they get a bye week, and then they get a massive showdown against Bama at home under the lights, which the last 3 times Bama has played in Athens, they have won and dominated. And then, of course, I think you get Auburn at Auburn, which you never know with Auburn. Is this the year that Hugh Freeze puts it together, or is this like his last stint in the play?
I think there's a lot of SEC coaches this year where it's like, is it going to be it, or are they going to just,
Pittman. I'm going to say it's going to be, Napier. I think Stoops at Kentucky, like how long can you live with this mediocrity? I think Brian Kelly. I think I'm trying to think who else would be on that hot seat. I feel like I'm missing a big one. No, because Mississippi State just got a new coach, didn't they?
Yeah, there's one more. I know there's one more because did Mizzou lose their coach or no?
No, he's still there. So Mizzou too, but I think Mizzou is actually going to stay in that realm of like 7, 8, 9 wins. I think they have a solid program. They get a lot of in-state kids from Missouri, from Illinois, from that area. I think they'll be fine. I think Missouri can be a tricky game who can ruin someone's season. And of course, the big one, no one is like, I think is maybe the most dangerous team in the SEC this year because of the amount of talent they have at the most important positions. South Carolina. That is the team.
Go Cox!
Right now, I've gone through a lot of the schedules. I have Bama losing at South Carolina, homecoming, night game. I believe it's October 18th. In the last few years, South Carolina at Willie Bean has beaten a team that they had no business beating. Last year was A&M. They should have beat LSU last year. They got cheated out of LSU with the refs. I mean, this South Carolina and then Missouri last year. I mean, that game was a fantastic finish. Clemson was great last year. It was at Clemson. They get Clemson at home this year. They get Ellis. Who else do they get? They get Bama at home, Oklahoma at home, and then they get Clemson at home. I mean, that's a dangerous team. I think they probably have the best defensive end in the draft next year. Yeah. I love Sellers. I love Beamer. That place is so hard to win at. I've seen many teams go in there and get the absolute doors blown off them. It happened to Bama in 2010. It happened to A&M last year. It's happened to Georgia multiple times. I've seen it happen. And if they put it all together, I could see South Carolina making a run to Atlanta and being a playoff team. I thought they finished best out of everyone in the country of the 3 lost teams last year. Like, everyone makes a case for Miami, Ole Miss, Bama. I think if South Carolina and Bama played later in the season, I think South Carolina wins that game easy.
And so we're talking about those end season teams. Like, everyone's talking, like, you know, Miami gets mentioned. I'm like, problem is Miami basically had 4 18-year-olds in that secondary. They were
away. Well, they gave the game away against Syracuse. Like, if they win the Syracuse game, they go to the playoffs.
Okay, so I watched every second of that Syracuse game and had to just suffer through it. The issue with that Syracuse game was, one, that Miami couldn't get a call to save their life. The undersized corners that they were throwing out there that were 18 years old were getting abused by the bigger Syracuse receivers. No. And some of them were blatant push-offs that, like, Cruz Yumi could call blackout drunk. It was that obvious, and they were not getting anything. Like, yeah, I get let them play, but, like, they were calling them on Miami. The other thing is that I will not even say the idiot who used to be our DC, would not make adjustments for the fact that his corners were getting smoked in man-to-man coverage and would not adjust. Because the adjustments could be made because McCord is not an elite quarterback. He's okay. He had great numbers, but, you know, still. The problem with that game was the defense gave it away, and Cam Ward could only do so much to Superman them to another one. That was the issue. Now, I love South Carolina, going back to that point. Yeah. I bet on them multiple times this year. I'm almost taking the legacy at South Carolina. My grandfather went there, class of, I think, 62. I am a big – I thought actually started 64. Big proponent of Lenore Sellers. I love Kennard is the one that the freshman, right? That was the edge rusher, Kennard. I always get him in the other.
Dylan
Stewart. Sorry, Kennard was the one
that was on the other end. Yeah.
Yeah, Kennard got drafted. Stewart's the one I like. Stewart's the one who got in trouble for the little machine gun celebration after a sack.
He did.
Love them. Ask the boys. I bet on them multiple times to pull upsets in the SEC last year. My biggest issue with the whole SEC schedule is we know it's going to come down to 4 or 5 teams. And at the end of the day, you know as well as I do, everyone's got a decent defense. Everyone's got a decent front 7 and a front 4 and everything else. Quarterback play can be the difference. So does that give Lenore Sellers the edge over a team like maybe Bama? I don't know. Who do you have? The thing is, I'm not even sold on Texas because we're sold that Archie's the prince that was promised. And I want to see him actually progress in Sark's offense. Because last year, it didn't matter who they put under center. Texas was screwed in games they were losing. So,
well, I mean, look, Texas last year was limited with yours. Injuries. He's not nearly as mobile as Arch. The thing about Arch is he can run. Like that's the thing. The kid runs a 4.5. Kid is smart. I mean, his football IQ is off the charts. Mm-hmm. He has all the talent in the world. Now, he's also going to a place where I've seen Sarkisian. I mean, look what Sarkisian did with Mac Jones in that offense. I mean, look at that. I mean, Mac had probably one of the greatest top 5.
Got a first-round draft grade out of it.
Yeah, one of the greatest, I'd say, quarterback seasons in college football history. Top 5.
Gave us a Heisman-winning receiver.
He did. Sark. I mean, and look, the receivers that are coming into Texas the next few years are insane. I think the thing that people like about Texas this year is the line of scrimmage. I know that they lost their best offensive tackle to the draft in Banks. He's a Saint now, so I'm excited to see him. But they brought a lot back in the trenches. I think that their schedule lines up pretty well. I know they got a monster matchup week 1. But look, unless it's like some freak blowout, I don't think the loser of that game is going to be punished too much. Now, here's the thing. Can Texas beat Georgia this year? Because Georgia beat them on the line of scrimmage both times. And then, of course, you got a massive showdown in Gainesville. You got a massive showdown in Dallas against Oklahoma. And then you end the season against A&M, your rival. You get that game at home. And then, of course, you got a matchup in the SEC Championship in Atlanta. So can they win the big games? They doesn't have to be sexy, but win the big games, and then I'll start giving them the hype. That's why I think Texas right now, I think they, on paper, yes, but from what I just need to see a lot more. Yeah. Honestly, to be this, but no one in this SEC is perfect. Everyone has their flaws. Bama, we don't know what they're going to be a quarterback. Georgia, are they going to reload or unload? South Carolina, live up to expectations. Florida, can DJ Lagway live up to the hype? Texas,
I love
DJ Lagway is my Heisman pick this year. I already have it locked in. I love DJ Lagway. Kid reminds me of Vince Young at Texas, the way he plays and the energy he brings to that team. Because you looked at that game last year. I watched his first snaps against Miami when they were down by 30, and this kid was cooking our defense. If DJ Lagway does not get hurt against Georgia, they beat Georgia and Jacksonville. I don't even think that's a debate. Texas, he didn't even play, and they lost by 50. Is Texas better than Florida? Yes. Are they 50 points better than Florida? No, they're not.
One thing about Texas that this is the biggest concern for me. You know me as an ex-offensive lineman, I look for this stuff. Their tackles last year were abysmal against elite pass rushing. It's like to the point where I actually would take like some ACC offensive lines over theirs in terms of pass protection. That's my key for Texas because that's why Ewers got hurt. He was getting murdered against good defenses. Yep. And I think the biggest problem with Texas, they can put all the weapons they want around them. If you can't keep your quarterback upright, it's the same at every level of football. You're not going to score points. So I agree with you about Texas. I think that their flaw, I think to me, is they got to prove to me they can bookend their O-line. Because last year, Williams and them boys on Georgia, I watched both games, lost money on both games, and I won money on the second one with Georgia. But Texas beat them. I lost money. I bet on opposite sides. Georgia's edge rush was so much better.
Oh, yeah.
But they made it look like it was the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles pass rush, where they were just getting in the backfield every snap. Ewers had maybe 0.3 seconds to throw. Nate knows all about that with Daniel Jones last year. So, listen, it's going to be better this year, okay? I promise you. But, the SEC, you know what the thing is, Cruz, we'll obviously, when we do our college preview in August, we'll obviously have you back on because you're the center of the show. And this way you and Kevin can yell at each other for 50 minutes about what Alabama's actually going to do.
To be honest, I don't even know what we're going to do this year. I mean, I have my expectations. I thought last year, we'd lose 2 games, end up losing 4. I'm not really counting the bowl game. That game was a fluke, and it was awful.
What are bowl games? I haven't paid attention to one unless it's –
And honestly, too, I think it's going to be a chaotic college football season. I think last year I think you saw last year the parity start to like unrival itself. Because if you look at the playoffs from last year, or the last 14 playoff, I mean, Michigan getting in was big. Alabama, Washington, and then Texas, which you're like, oh, this is great. The next year. Now, I mean, look, I'm not a massive fan of the 12-team playoff. I thought it should have been 8, to be honest. Even
Thank
6.
you.
I would have been fine with 6. But that is what it is. It's a cash grab. It's a money grab. I think this year they are going to do their best to avoid those awful first-round matchups. I think they're going to do the best to do that. Because I think if you look at I think the best one was probably Clemson, Texas. And I think that was a 20-point game. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, Clemson started running it, and they started getting close. But Texas kind of put them away in the fourth quarter. It looks like, I guess the best way to put it is when you play College Football 25 and you take your starters out and the CPU won't let you score, and then they start coming back. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, it was 38-24, and then but that score doesn't even close. And then you got the semifinals, and then you got Arizona State, Texas, which was an awesome game. Maybe one of my favorite games of last year. The Boise State Penn State game, I couldn't tell you a single thing about that game. It was very, very boring, very slow. I just remember Ginty not really being able to do much. Notre Dame played. Who did Notre Dame play? They played
Georgia. That was the game. That was the
game. They played Georgia.
Yeah.
They played Georgia. And it was, Notre Dame manhandled. I actually have never seen a Kirby Smart team get physically outclassed in a neutral field that way. And then obviously the Oregon Ohio State game was just
awful.
It was never close. I think it was 31-0 before Oregon even got a
it was.
goal. So I think what they're going to do, I think this year they're actually going to really, really try to avoid those matchups, kind of like they did with the BCS, kind of like they did in the beginning stages of the college football playoffs.
Yeah,
to like entice views. But I mean, look, I'm excited. I think this. I honestly don't know what's going to happen this year, and it's actually kind of refreshing. I could see Bama return to glory. I could see Ohio State repeat. I could see Texas and Arch, the prodigal son, doing it. I could even see a team like Notre Dame finally getting it done.
I was going to ask you about Notre Dame next.
I love Marcus Freeman. I love their running backs. I think their schedule lines up perfectly. Right. I think, and they're all, as long as they lose one game, they can lose one game. And we saw it last year with Northern Illinois.
It's going to be to us.
Game, and then they can still get into the playoffs and make a run, which that's all you have to do. Just make the dance. And then do what you got to do. Like there was I was watching Bustin' with the Boys. Shout out Will Compton, Taylor Lewan. I got a chance to watch their interview they did with Diego Pavia. And look, what if we're just like, what if they strike lightning in a bottle and they have a better season than they did last year? Like, I'm not saying they're going to beat Bama again, but what if they beat Texas? What if
Vandy has my ceiling for them? I looked at, because I started way too early looking at college, because like Miami had a couple 4-star recruits this week, so I was kind of getting in my feels a little bit. I was like, let me start looking at schedules, and somehow Vandy came up, and I was like, they could be a 3-loss team. They have that ceiling.
I mean, it's not a bad. I mean, they're not a bad team. I know they return a lot. I love that. I love the confidence and the swagger Pavia has, because it's just like, you want to not like them. And like, for example, like I can't wait to be in Tuscaloosa for that game. Like I never thought I would be excited about. I never thought I'd be excited about going to Bama Vandy. Like that is a real sentence coming out of my mouth. And I can't wait to watch it, because okay, what if he goes into Tuscaloosa, and I'm not saying he beats us, but what if he gives us hell again? And then you're like, okay, this seems legit. I'm looking at their schedule that they have, and it's a pretty tough schedule to navigate. So, I mean, they have Charleston Southern start the season off. Then you go to Virginia Tech. I mean, look, Virginia Tech, we don't know what Virginia Tech's been for years.
They don't have any quarterbacks, though. That's the issue. Like their struggles on offense itself.
Yeah.
It's the defense.
Then you go to South Carolina. You think a team like South Carolina, okay, hype's real. Are they gonna live up to the moment, take care of business, or does South Carolina get them? That would open a lot of eyes. Then you get Georgia State and Utah State at home back-to-back weeks. Okay, so right now, realistically, we're looking at probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're probably looking at 4-1, possibly even 5-0, and then you get a date. Listen to this stretch; it's absolutely brutal. At Bama, LSU at home, Missouri at home, at Texas, Auburn at home, and then you end the season at Tennessee. That is a brutal stretch. Now, if they go, let's just say in that stretch, let's just say they lose the Bama, okay, but they play Bama tough. LSU, man, you get LSU at home, and you're riding that confidence high. Be like, man, what if Bama is just like that team this year? And then we play them tough. And then you get a Bryant Kelly team, which we don't know. Bryant Kelly's team's already going to have a few losses, and they're down in the dumps. And then you get Missouri. I could see him beating Missouri. And then you go to Texas, at Texas. On November 1st, you could catch them sleepwalking at 11 a.m. You could see it. Then you get Auburn. We don't know what Auburn's going to be. And then at Tennessee, because we don't know what Tennessee is going to be this year without Nico. Yeah. There is a legitimate, real thing of Vandy finding their way in the playoff conversation, which I never thought I'd ever say.
Okay. I have a hot take about Nico. It may not be a hot take. I'm not sure, because I honestly, besides Gump Twitter, I don't really follow. I follow 80% of you guys that came on the show. So shout out to my boys like you and Bon, obviously, and my boy Mr. Price. But to me, Nico, I watched him 4 times. I was not impressed. I know he's a freshman, but I was waiting to see something mystical like Trevor Lawrence as a freshman, and I'm like, the hell am I watching? I'm like, he's a game manager. He's not an elite quarterback.
I don't even think game managers is the right word. I think he is I think a lot of people crowned him because he looked really good in 7-on-7. He looked really good in the bowl game against I can't remember the bowl game they played against. But he had a good bowl game. I think he had like 4 rushing touchdowns. But I never believed in the Nico hype. I think he throws a really pretty ball. Problem is, it's very inaccurate. If Alabama played even a lick of offense last year, they blow Tennessee out at home because they were, I believe, 4 turnovers. I know 3 in the first half. 3
Iowa, they beat him 35.
It was Iowa. There you go. So it was 3 turnovers in the first half, 3 interceptions, I think, or 2 interceptions, 1 fumble, and then another one later in the game. And then Jalen Milroe just had probably the worst game of his career. And then obviously that took it. But like Nico at UCLA is going to be a disaster. I don't understand that move. USC, I could see. Maybe even like Arizona State or Colorado, like something like that. But you're going to UCLA. They probably have one of the worst recruiting classes in the Big Ten or in the Big Ten.
To throw him a bone. That's why he had to end up going to, because what he did, his dad and agent screwed him. I think the poor kid took bad advice and he's hosed. I think he's got an uphill battle now, and when he could have just easily just stayed at Tennessee and probably progressed to be a decent quarterback.
See, I don't think he ever would have been a decent quarterback. To be honest, I don't think he was that good. I think he had a lot of talent around him. I thought that Sampson last year, the running back, was fantastic. The defense that they had, the edge rushers were great, but they both got drafted. I think Nico is in for a very rude awakening. He has to go back to Columbus, the house of nightmares that he had to deal with last year in the playoffs. He has to go back there with UCLA's roster this year. So
that was a rough night. That was the start of my bad bets beat for the college football playoff. See, I had the best NFL playoffs of my life. Like, I was living it up, man. Like, it was great. Life was good. College football, I was living in betting the house of nightmares. And these two were witness to it. Now, we kind of touched on SEC a little bit. I did a deep dive in the ACC yesterday. And so, we were talking about a little bit, you have to go to Virginia Tech, obviously. Vandy does. So I thought about it the other day. There's 6 teams in the ACC I honestly think could actually make not like a championship run, but like be contenders in the top 25. Obviously, I got to go 6 with Manny Diaz and the Duke Blue Devils. I love Manny. I'm one of the few Miami fans who actually thanks him for what he did for our program as a defensive coordinator. Head coach, he was awful. DC was incredible. Those nutsacks down in Georgia Tech, I hate them to death, but I understand what they do for the program. Who puts a ring for beating us? You guys are such losers. Anyway, Florida, I love what Jeff Brom's doing. Adding Miller Moss. I know he had a rough patch at USC, but dude, Brom made Tyler Shook look like an All-American in some games. I at this point, I'm a believer in that offense. Obviously, the least physical team I've ever seen from the state of Texas, SMU. I love Rhett Lashley. I think I was rooting so hard for them to do something, and they just found a way to just bum themselves against Clemson. And then, of course, Clemson and my Hurricanes 1 and 2, whichever order you want to pick. Obviously, you have Clemson at 1, Miami 2. I have it possibly vice versa. I want to see what actually we get out of Carson Beck. But that's 6 teams that could contend on top of the 7 you mentioned in the SEC. And then we get to the Big Ten. I mean, obviously, Ohio State, you're going to get what you're going to get. We don't know what's going to happen with Michigan. Are they going to get nailed with sanctions? They've just brought in Jake Garcia for some reason. I don't know why. There's already Michigan people talking like they're about to get nailed with the hammer from the whole Harbaugh thing. And then Underwood's going to transfer again. So, Maddie, keep your checkbook open.
No, listen, don't forget who's the coach down there that always learns how to just screw something up.
You mean the only coach with a murder rap sheet? What's it? Yeah. I've been hanging out with Kevin too much. Sorry.
If he can keep us out of the playoffs, he can keep us from getting
Brian Kelly.
Quarterback recruit.
You didn't even mention Cal in the ACC.
You're missing.
Nate, if you guys win 8 games, I'm gonna be the happiest man alive for you. You guys lost. Nate, you're the starting running back for Cal.
I mean, look, I think there's a big one in the Big Ten this year that no one is giving enough attention to. And it's because they probably have the easiest schedule in the Big Ten. It's Nebraska. They have the easiest schedule. They have all their tough games at home, except at Penn State, second to last week of the season. We don't know what everyone has high expectations for Penn State. We don't really know. Dylan Raiola in year 2.
Cruz right now. Put it down for me right now. You can put it in your phone. 4 losses for Penn State this year.
Penn State.
Yeah, I am not a fan of what they have. I don't think Drew Aller's a good quarterback. I think
They had the best running backs in the country.
I know, but it doesn't matter if you're down by.
Penn State will be in the Big Ten championship.
If you're down by 21, it's not going to matter.
They're not going to be. They're not. The thing is, though, they're not going to be. That schedule that they have, they get Oregon at home, night game, white out. That's the most dangerous place to play at night sometimes in the Big Ten. I know that Oregon is coming back. We don't know what Oregon's going to be like. New quarterback, too. We expect them, Dante Moore, to be a stud, but we don't know. This is Dan Lanning really first rebuild, reload kind of thing. So we're going to see.
So I'm a sucker for Dante Moore. I think the kid's going to be elite.
I think he will too.
Yeah, I think okay. So the 4 losses I have them losing to are Oregon. I have them losing at Ohio State. I have them losing versus Nebraska, and then the coin flip for me was I wanted to see what Kirk Cignetti brought. I think this is them or Iowa. I feel like they could just those are the 2 coin flip. I think they smoke Nevada. They smoke UCLA. They blow through Northwestern, Rutgers, Michigan State. It's just Iowa and Indiana are kind of the 2 games where I'm like,
they're going to split. They're not losing to both Ohio State and Oregon. I'm calling that now. They're going to split those games. I don't know. You can pick who you want to split it with. My guess is Oregon because, again, I don't bet against teams playing a night game at whiteout at Happy Valley.
Sure, though, because Fox has been effing up this for
weeks. It's a whiteout. It's already been confirmed. It is I don't know what time zone you're on, but it's 6:30 Central Time.
So 7:30. That's a whiteout.
So yeah, it's a confirmed whiteout. I'm actually going to try and go. I've never been to Happy Valley, so I want to go.
It's lit. Hey, listen, if I got the money, I'll meet you there.
Indiana is going to be the biggest take back team in the playoffs this year. I love Coach Sig. He's a Bama guy. He's a Saban guy. I think he brought some energy to it. But can we please put the narrative to bed that they are good against elite teams? They played what was it? 2 ranked teams last year and got the doors blown off them by both against Notre Dame and Ohio State. I don't think that they have the weapons. Penn State has probably the best shoe running. They probably have 2 of the top 5 running backs in the country. Drew Allard is. Look, I hope he's better. He lost the game for Penn State last year against Notre Dame. We don't know. I like what they have coming back. I like their receivers. Julian Fleming, the transfer from Ohio State's a stud. I think they finally get their first 1,000-yard receiver. I know that they're going to have to replace Tyler Warren. That dude's a freak, but they always just find a way to pop out tight ends at Penn State. I think they're going to be fine. I think they lose. I'll give you Nebraska upset because I think Nebraska is a team no one's talking about, but they are not losing both Ohio State and Oregon. And if they do, that's James Franklin hot seat is going to start warming up.
That was my point. I think they at least lose 3 games because my 3 games were Nebraska, Oregon, and Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you know me, I'm a little bit of a crazy gambler when it comes to Big Ten football because I hate everyone in the Big Ten. So I will, except for Oregon, I kind of I'm always like, okay, how much more chaos can I create?
Yeah.
And so I look at their schedule and they have a bunch of buffer. Oregon's schedule around Penn State's not awful either. I think they can go in because I don't. That's the one game where I'm kind of obviously disagree. I think they're losing to Ohio State. I think they're Ohio State.
I think they very well could, but we don't know what Julian Sain's going to be, and we don't know what Dante Moore's going to be.
It could be 2021 all over again. We don't know.
It could be. It could be. It could be where maybe Julian Sain's struggling. They got to bring a guy in. But look, the thing about Ohio State, and you know this, and I was talking to my Ohio State guy yesterday. Throw the ball to 4. That's all you got to do. Just throw the ball at the 4. You will come down at it 10 out of 10 times. Kid's a freak, best player in college football. I think they have 2 of the top 5 players in college football. Caleb Downs on the other side, who's going to be a top 5 draft pick, former Bama guy, and then you got Jeremiah Smith.
Mm-hmm. So I got one player for you. I got one player for you as a Maxwell. Is it Doak Walker Award? Doak Walker is the best running back award, and then. I don't think he's going to be a Heisman candidate, but I think he's going to be a Doak Walker finalist. And I think this kid is – I watched him. He beat out 3 better players to get touches last year. I think Jordan Lyles is going to be the best running back in the ACC next year. I think he's going to smoke a lot of players. I watched him on a full – against South Florida, a team that always for some reason gives you guys trouble. bust a 98-yarder, and it was like he was jogging and he was flying by people. And the kid runs hard. He doesn't really have a flaw in his game, and this was when he was 18. Him and Mark Fletcher, I think, is the best run-to punch for running backs in the ACC. That is what's going to help a guy like Beck. I think that's what's going to make them and Clemson the two teams that represent in the playoff for the ACC. Whoever wins the championship, it doesn't matter. They're both going. Because we go back. I think that SMU's soft. I think that Louisville's flawed. Duke's flawed, and so is Georgia Tech. The only two teams that have almost complete rosters, at least in the terms of the ACC, are Clemson and Miami. It's just a matter of if Mario doesn't coach himself out of a game, which he tends to do at least once a year, and Dabo doesn't get too big for his britches and let Cade just completely keep slinging it. Because I'm telling you right now, I am not a big Cade Cunningham fan. I have not been a fan of his for a while. I watched him get outplayed by Joe Milton.
Yep.
And then I watched him get outplayed multiple times by quarterbacks of way lesser talent, at least on paper. I think Clemson's roster is disgusting. I just think that it's the thing is that when in the ACC, quarterback play is essential. Because you could have an elite offense and an elite defense around you, and if you have nobody under center for you or it's just a game manager, you're only going to go so far. It's the one conference where quarterback play is elite.
It's the one. So that conference is going to come down to three teams to me. I think there's only three. I think it's Georgia Tech. I love what they bring back. I love Haynes King. I think that they are a tough, gritty team. And if you catch them on the run, look at Georgia. I mean, it took 8 overtimes. Look at Miami. Look at NC State. Look at UNC. Like Georgia Tech will and look at Florida State last year. I think they're the ones who actually broke Florida State in Ireland. I think Clemson I think they have the best roster in college football, not name Texas and Alabama. I love what they have at the most important positions now. Cade last year, and this is what I really like because they have Lincoln Riley's brother, Garrett Riley, which I think he finally realized, look, Cade can't throw the ball 40 times a game, but I can get him throwing 25 and then having him run another 15. That's going to be the success. I like what they have on the O-line and D-line. I think Clemson – I'd be shocked if Clemson is not a top 4 seed come playoff time. I think they boat race everyone in the ACC. Look, you're going to hate hearing this. I don't think the Carson Beck experiment's going to work out in Miami. I think that kid is a head case. He's been nothing but drama since he's gotten there. I haven't heard good things about him in camp. I've heard that he's not getting along with his teammates. I think it's going to be an awful flop. I might even say this. He doesn't even finish the season as a starter. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there for you right now.
You think Luke Nickel?
We will see him come in at some point in the season. I think they get humbled really hard against the Gators, and I think that's where you're going to see this team unravel. And look, and I love Mario. I think Mario is one of the best recruiters Saban's ever had. Dude knows offensive and defensive line play. Carson Beck is going to be a cancer in that locker room. There's a reason why he was not welcome back at Georgia. And so there's a reason why. And then, of course, SMU, the team last year, I think they have the second best quarterback. I like their schedule. Look, they can lose one game and still get in like they've done. I like what they have at the quarterback position there, and we're talking about how important it is. I think Duke has a chance to actually be pretty good with Malik Murphy. I like him to transfer from Texas. He was good last year. He's a dual threat. I'm not saying Duke's going to win it, but if we're going
taking shrapnel shots right now, I'm just taking them on the chin. It's okay.
And so UNC, we don't know what UNC is going to be with Belichick. It can either be the greatest thing ever, but regardless, it's going to be must-watch TV rather. It's an absolute dumpster fire.
My point was this conference is going to be entertainment this year. Either way,
it's going to be gross. It's going to be like I don't know. It's going to be like Love Island. It's going to be the trashiest TV you've ever seen, but you can't stop watching it.
My point was there's going to be a lot of contenders in the ACC for once. It's not going to be there's one or two teams that get in off of easy schedules and they get murdered in the first round like has been years past. I think obviously we know Clemson's the front runner here.
Oh yeah.
See, the thing is the guys I follow from Miami sources have said he's been okay at camp. There's been no issues. So I don't know whose reports are on. Because I follow guys like NMD Grant and all these guys, and all I've heard about Beck is he's fine. Mario and him get along.
Again,
get along.
You know this as well as I do.
Yeah.
When there is a controversy, especially the quarterback position, how many guys who report on the team are going to go out of their way and say that, hey, there's an issue in the locker room, or hey, there's this and that.
It
Put
won't be
credibility
until
on it and
what?
lose it. Now I've had some people who I really trust who it was the same thing that I've heard about multiple ways about Quentin Ewers and him going out, about Jalen Milroe and him getting out. Like there's something going on in that locker room with Carson Beck. I think that he came to Miami for the wrong reason. I think Miami got desperate. I think if they would have waited another week, Jalen Milroe would have transferred to Miami. I actually think that. I truly believe that if Jalen Milroe would have gone to Miami had they not gotten Carson Beck, I think he would have came back for another year. There was rumor about Milroe possibly going to Notre Dame, but they filled that slot. I feel like you're going to have a rough season, buddy. But you have the Eagles, so I mean, like you're fine. You're good. They're going to repeat. They're going to repeat.
It's okay because, I've been told this before about other teams, and I was told that, not by you, I was told by some fans and friends of mine that Cam Ward experiment was going to fail. I'm not saying he's going to be Cam Ward. I'm saying that I think this Miami team is going to shock a lot of people because the one thing that Shannon Dawson's offense does well is it plays the strength of the quarterback under center.
Yeah.
And I think as much as locker rooms are a big thing, I think the Miami culture has taken a really big shift. 2 years ago, I am totally with you. When Mario first got there, dude, a bad head case at quarterback or a head case at running back, wide receiver, whatever, it doesn't matter, would tank the locker room, especially under the early Cristobal, late Manny Diaz years. I think when I see a lot of stuff out of camp right now, Miami's really focused on bringing in the culture back to what it was pre-Al Golden years, the early Randy Shannon, late Larry Coker years, where it was like they were still a national power, where you're seeing guys like Michael Irvin, Ed Reed, Reggie Wayne, they're all on the sidelines. They're coaching these guys up at practice, and they're kind of what made Miami instead of whatever the hell they tried to do post-Al Golden. I think that is what's going to counteract whatever hullabaloo that the media is spinning up about Carson Beck. Listen, the whole Cavender thing is so effing stupid. I am actually elated that they broke up because I guarantee it would have been 10 times worse if they stayed together.
Well, I think too, that's not even like the whole relationship thing was, I don't even think that was much of an issue. Like the things I've been told is that he's not willing. He's not getting along with his teammates. He's not putting in the effort in. He had this issue apparently at the end of Georgia, towards the end of his tenure there. Look, I agree. Like college football is better when Miami is good. You know this. It's true. They're blue blood. They're great. I think Cam Ward last year was the difference between Cam Ward and Carson Beck. Cam Ward has that dog killer instinct attitude. Yeah. He had it at Wazoo, and now he brought it to Miami. Carson Beck doesn't have that. Carson Beck he got handed the keys to a Ferrari to a back-to-back national championship team with arguably one of the best defenses ever, with one of the best up-and-coming coaches in Kirby Smart, who's going to be an all-time great at this rate. And he got handed the keys, and he coasted, and then he got humbled by Alabama twice, and I think it broke him. And I understand that he's coming into Miami, fresh paint, but I think you got a lemon. I think you open up the hood, man, and I don't think it's going to be what you want. I hate that for you. I mean, you guys are still going to be better in Florida State, but you guys will be the second best team in the state of Florida this year.
So my one thing is about Carson Beck, and I don't know how familiar you are with Luke Nickel, right? So he is basically the best quarterback we've recruited since probably Dorsey. And then the other guy we have coming in next year, who was just in the Elite 11 camp, I cannot remember the kid's name for the life of me. Hell of a player. I love his swagger. I love him too. But what I love Luke Nickel is, dude's got that kind of oomph and swagger and killer instinct. I watched him last year at Georgia in his Georgia high school games. I got to see a couple clips. I was blown away. The kid kind of reminds me a little bit of, I'm not going to say Arch Manning, but he kind of a little more passer, less runner, but a similar kind of style to Arch Manning. And here's the thing about Beck, and I'm going to be straight up with you, Cruz. I don't care if we win the ACC. I want us to finish harder than we did last year. We have a good enough roster around. If we shove Luke Nickel in, we're probably just as good as with Carson Beck. I just want Carson Beck not to F up. I could care. I don't need him to be an MVP. I need him to hand the ball off to our 2 elite running backs, throw off play action balls, and maybe hit occasionally a deep ball, which every D1 quarterback should do, to our decent receiving core featuring CJ Daniels from LSU and Josiah Trader, who's going to be a Blitnikoff nominee within 2 years. That kid is incredible. And the rest of the guy, and the giant MF we just got from BYU, whose name I can't remember. And let our defense, led by Ruben Bain, and that revamped secondary wreak havoc. Because that's what we need. We're not going to win the national title. I don't need us to. Are we going to be a pain in the ass for Duke, for Notre Dame, for Florida? Yeah, that's what we are. Listen, no Cam Ward's coming through the door. Unless Luke Nickel comes in and he's the next Trevor Lawrence, that's not happening. Or Carson Beck apparently turns into the reincarnation of, I don't know, what name insert the grad transfer that wins the national title. I don't care.
Joe.
Will Howard. Yeah, sure. The thing is, to me, this is a scrap. This is a reload year where we fix everything that was wrong last year. We couldn't get the quarterback we wanted. Whatever. Our quarterback was with the one who we went to Oklahoma. That was who we were supposed to get. And Oklahoma snaked us. It's fine. They're going to have 5 losses anyway. So I kind of look at, and this is we'll talk NBA after this, kind of where your time is limited, but I look at it from this perspective as we're doing 56 minutes talking college football, which is magnificent. This is why I love bringing you on, buddy, because we could throw 3 things on the board and we'll cover for 3 hours.
I know. It sucks that I've used my 1 hour that I have on college football, so I feel
it's
bad.
all right. We're gonna quiz you quickly because we're gonna do this. We're gonna do our draft quick after our KB draft. But all I'm gonna say is, just expect Miami to F things up for everybody this year.
Okay.
We're not going to be.
I'll gladly come on this show, and I will eat crow.
I will mark that down on my calendar. I don't expect Beck to be elite. I expect Beck to be okay. That's fine. Okay. Perfect. Because you realize, like I said in Kevin's show, the bar is set so damn low. He has to be somewhere between Tyler Van Dyke and De'Aaron King. That's it. I don't need anything better. Okay.
Fair enough.
I don't need Brad Kaya, Ken Dorsey, or Cameron Ward. Okay. All right. So quickly, we're gonna do a KB draft. Me and the boys will do it together. Honestly, once because I know you got to get off at 8, or 7 o'clock your time. But I appreciate you. So quickly, I'm gonna name off 4 categories here. Pick your picks for your favorite video games of all time. So first off, as we kick in the KB draft, your favorite sports game of all time, franchise, doesn't matter, or you can pick an individual year. You're kind of setting the tone here.
Ooh, this is tough. I mean, there's so many picks. I think the obvious answer probably has to be the college football game.
Yeah.
I will say, so this is a hot take that a lot of people don't know about me. Your boy was a massive nerd growing up, and the game I played constantly growing up was Kingdom Hearts. I played Kingdom Hearts so much.
That goes under RPG. That was my next question for you. Yeah. So RPG, Kingdom Hearts is your RPG?
That's my game. Yep.
Okay, that's sports is college football. Your favorite open world game?
Skyrim. Easy. Actually, no. I'm going to change that.
Ooh.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, solid.
That's the one. I've been playing that. I've been replaying it. Getting ready for the sequel. It's an incredible game. It's a masterpiece. Like, there's so much you can do with that game. I got to go with that.
Imagine if Assassin's Creed Shadows was good. That's basically Ghost of Tsushima.
100%.
Yeah. All right, and last but not least, favorite first-person shooter.
Oh man, that's tough. God, so bad at first person. It's got to be Halo. It's got to be Halo 3. It's got to be
Hell yeah. It has to. All right. And for the winner chicken dinner, your wild card game. This could be any of the 4 categories you listed, or a category we did. It could be a chess game for all we care. A golf.
Resident Evil has always been a personal favorite of mine.
Yes,
every single one. I know they just announced Resident Evil 9, or was it? Yeah, Resident Evil 9 be out next year. I'm a sucker for them. I grew up I think my all-time favorite video game of all time is Resident Evil 4. I think it's one of the greatest games ever made. So that's my hot take. Like, I don't just stick to sports games. I play the whole lot. Play the whole lot.
Hell yeah, man. All right, Cruz, we love you, brother. Thank you for coming on. You can check out him at Real Cruz Ox on everything. He's an amazing follow, especially if you love Bama. And shout out to our friends over at Gum Twitter. Cruz, last but not least, quick one sentence synopsis on last night's NBA draft.
forgettable.
There we go. Cruz Oxenrider, everybody. Shout out to our boy Mac as well.
Oh.
Listen, he makes
I didn't
quick eggs.
expect him to drop out that quick.
He is the king of the Irish goodbye. All right. So I want to touch NBA basketball real quick. Last night, ladies and gentlemen, was another nail in Adam Silver's coffin. I am done with this. You have one of the generational superstars, or he's supposed to be, in Cooper Flagg. You have another one in Harris and another one in Bailey. And the kid out of Baylor whose name I cannot pronounce. Remember. It's not going to.
VJ Edgecombe.
Thank you. And much more. Also, shout out to North Carolina. Drake Powell got drafted, first round pick from North Carolina since 2021. We're back, boys. Also, the kid out of Nigeria, maybe it was not Nigeria, the kid from Africa, played for Duke, who got drafted by the Rockets. Him crying as he got drafted was like my favorite thing last night. I was so happy for him. I was like, yes! I love this kid. His story is so cool. And I'm like, awesome, man. I'm so proud of you.
7-1, but his 7-7
dominant player, man. He scared the hell out of me when Duke was playing, but dude, I'm so happy for him to get drafted. That was the coolest thing last night. But everything other than that, whether it was the kid going to the Rockets and looking so depressed, or Ace Bailey going to the Jazz anyway after denying workouts, this was just another example of the NBA just being lame. And I saw a take today that this is the AAU generation now. We're starting to see it full on. Like the high school kid generation is almost dead and gone now. We had private high schools. That's fine. We've had them far back as LeBron and everywhere else before that. Even like guys going up as close as John Wall, Cat. These guys were all private school kids. Now we're in the AAU generation. And you can see, and the guy called it a sense of entitlement. I won't call it that. I just think, fellas, you should just be happy to get drafted. Because you know how many careers in basketball die overseas or die in the G League? Just be happy. That's my thing. Any comments? Obviously, I know you and Matt barely got a word in when Cruz was on because he couldn't roll. I've learned this with Cruz because I've done about 15 shows with him now. You just kind of got to pick your spots and keep saying things,
yes,
and he'll let you get a word in. That's the way to deal with Cruz. Love him. He's one of my favorite guests because you know what? Dude can eat up an hour like that. And he's great about it, especially with college ball. But just wait until the NFL season starts. He's even worse. Even better, sorry. Love Cruz. Shout out, by the way, if you guys have not followed Cruz Oxenrider on social media, what are you doing? Go follow him. He is a great dude, and he's also one of my favorite people, obviously. And he's also a big advocate of this month, which is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I, of course, am a very big advocate of that as well. I am very loud and outspoken about why it is important for us to acknowledge it, especially this month. And Cruz is as well. So shout out to him for that as well. He's a real stand-up guy. But yeah, Nate, any comments on obviously the college football talk? I know you made your joke about Cal. Listen, buddy, I would love for Cal to have 6 wins. I would truly. Me too. But the problem is, hey, buddy, they're putting you behind the line of scrimmage at this point. Like you're the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup at this point.
I love it. No, I mean, it's going to be a fun college football season. I was surprised to hear that things aren't going well with Miami, but that could change. Who knows? Maybe Carson Beck does.
Also, any SEC fan you talk to hates Carson Beck. I've learned this. I've talked to Auburn fans, Alabama fans, Georgia fans, Tennessee fans. I think there is a skeptical hatred of Carson Beck because let's be honest, he is not. I guess everyone says he looks like Sid the Sloth. I don't get it. And he was dating one of the most attractive basketball players in America. He was winning a national title as a freshman or a sophomore. I get why people hate on him. Do I think it's warranted? Yeah, possibly. But do I think there's a little bias to how he's going to do? Of course I do. So that's why I said Cruz is a man of his word. He will come on the show and eat crow when he's wrong. I, of course, have taken some shrapnel from him and Kevin in the past for Miami play. I am a believer in this season. Continue, Nate. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to make that short point because I know Matt has some stuff to say too. In terms of the NBA draft, feel bad for Ace Bailey. Did not want to go to Utah. That poor guy. He was very unhappy. And then there's another guy too in the draft that wasn't happy when he got drafted. Colin Murray Boyles.
Raptors.
Yes, the Raptors guy. Yeah. He as soon as he got drafted, he stood up and he said the F word. And then he hugged his family. I'm like, oh, that's too unhappy. I guess I don't know. I guess the prospects in this year's draft, when they were drafted, they weren't really happy with where they're headed. And one more shout out to his name is real quick Yang Hansen. He is a 7'1" guy from China. He's going to.
They're saying he's the Asian Jokic.
Yeah. Well, he's not that great from what I've seen. He's slow. He can't play defense outside the paint. So he's just a big dude with a 9'3" standing reach. So
holy crap.
Yeah, we'll see. This is Portland will have a lot of work to do in terms of developing him. But I'll leave my point at that. Because I know Matt, you didn't say much either during the show, so I'll give it to you, my friend.
Yeah, I didn't have to because he pretty much spoke about all of my insecurities and fears of LSU, which was all what we all knew, which was that Brian Kelly's just going to ruin it all, and Nussmeier is for some reason projected as a top quarterback coming into this next draft class, and he's not. I haven't seen anything of him to even, merit a second rounder. I don't think. It's just that guy that doesn't get the job done. But we'll go into the NBA. Obviously, Mavericks, good draft, taking Cooper Flag, clear cut number one prospect in that draft, the best guy that they could possibly choose to replace Luka Doncic. We'll see. You're probably going to have to give it 5-6 years or so before you start to see if this trade is actually something that works out in the Mavericks' favor or if this in the Lakers' favor, maybe both. But this is the start of seeing if Nico Harrison is onto something or if he just was completely whiffed it. I like the Phoenix Suns draft. I think after that Kevin Durant trade, I was looking at it like, this seems like a team that's really going backwards. And it was just like they were on a downturn after, from that lackluster Durant trade. But they got Mark Williams from Charlotte, who averaged, I believe it was like 15.3 points, 10.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.5 blocks. And they also drafted Kaman Malowick. Might not have said that correctly. Utah didn't mind their draft. I know Ace Bailey didn't really want to, I don't think, go to Utah. I think he tried to skip out on workouts or whatever the case was. But
cancel workouts. However, you got Ace Bailey and then you go take Walter Clayton Jr. I think that's actually a solid first round for that team. So if they can get everybody on board, I think that could turn out to be a pretty good future. And then some not so great things. So like Pelicans, they moved up really high to get Derek Queen. Seems like a risky potential reach of a pick. They paid a hefty price to do so, I believe. They gave up a 23rd pick, an unprotected 2026 first, and Asa Newell. And Brooklyn as well. Brooklyn was weird. They had 5 first-round picks. They took all 5 of their selections. Now, the thing with Brooklyn is that they needed some scoring threats just to solve those scoring issues for that team. And their 2 first guys, Igor and Nolan, they're not – I don't think they were considered scoring threats. And they also took 2 other guys that are primarily defenders. So I just don't know if that's going to solve their scoring issues. They got 2 guys that are primarily defenders and then 2 other guys that aren't really known for, putting up points. So kind of, I guess, curious to see how this goes. Maybe they could have traded some picks to acquire some other stuff. But we'll see how that goes. I'm not a huge fan of Brooklyn, even though they used all 5 of their first rounders. So that's really all I have for the draft. Every time I paid attention to the TV Brooklyn was picking. It was just insane. I forgot they had 5 picks. Minnesota drafted some stinky Frenchmen. I could care less.
Damn.
Okay. Haven't we learned a lesson? We don't draft Frenchmen.
What? He's 6'11".
That's how
I don't care.
He's a 3rd best center. He lacks polish, but he signed in Slovenia and he's played basketball for only 4 years. But he has the physical tools.
Whatever. I could care less. I can't wait for free agency to start because I just want to see what the hell happens with our actual player, big men who actually play.
He will learn behind Rudy Gobert. So
no, he's not going to be a Timberwolf by the end of the offseason.
Okay,
they're going to go eat snails together. Escargot.
Ooh,
he's going to escargot. All right, fellas. We've forgotten enough. I'm done talking basketball. They don't deserve any more of our love. Anyway,
Marte, shout out to him, man. Way to fight.
Yeah, you know what? I saw weird stuff today. It's like I think it's a Nothing Personal podcast. Guys, like I hope it wasn't the NFL, the MLB moving the goalposts. I'm like, bro, shut up. I hate takes like that. But also, I watched the video of the kid heckling him, and it was him and his girlfriend. They were a little inebriated, and they just I think it was a Yo Mama joke and it just came out wrong. I'm not defending them, but like I'm kind of happy the MLB kind of, even if it was some people would consider it a minor infraction, I'm very happy the MLB kind of dropped a swift hammer because we've had it happen earlier this year with Duran with the mental health stuff. And I know a lot of players actually end up ignoring it, but heckling is one thing, but getting personal like this is another. And it's not welcome in baseball.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and I'm on board, and I'm happy with the MLB's decision to ban them indefinitely. I don't care if anybody thinks it's too harsh or that it's anything like that. I don't know what was said either. There's no like direct quotes or videos that I've seen that have everything laid out that was said. But nevertheless, I mean, the man was obviously very close to his mother, and she passed away a short, 7-8 years ago from a car crash in the Dominican. Mm-hmm. And mothers are that's just a universal unspoken rule where you just don't touch that as a joke or as anything. You don't mention somebody's mother. So that was just way out of line, and I'm all on board with it. I think baseball will be better if fans like that aren't at the game.
I agree. I just, I'm just happy. I'm happy. Like I love seeing the camaraderie with Diamondbacks. I love seeing Torey Lovello, who I give him all the credit in the world. The amount of injuries he's dealt with this year is just, he's a manager's manager. I think this man deserves like a lifetime contract with us. He's a hell of a coach. And I just, Ketel's my favorite player. I didn't make no secret about it. And I love seeing him, like, the support from his teammates. And obviously my heart goes out to him because I couldn't even imagine his position. So yeah, I'm happy the guy got banned. I'm happy the MLB is kind of making an example out of him to say, hey, listen, this is what could happen if you do this, like, shape up. So, all right, moving on. We got about 10 minutes left. You guys ready for our KB draft? We're doing 3 people today because unfortunately Cruz had to dip. So Nathan, could you give us a 3 draft order?
Yes, sir. I did. I got it ready. Well, I thought Cruz was going to be part of it. So
just take Cruz out.
All right, cool. Well, it's like this then. It's me and then Matt and then you, boss.
All right. So we'll start with sports.
Ooh.
And then we'll work our way down to open world, FPS, RPG, wildcard. Now, I want to distinguish something.
Yes.
There are going to be mixtures of open world RPGs. Like Knights of the Old Republic, RPG. Skyrim, open world. GTA, open world. Saints Row, open world. Fallout is technically an open world game. So I want to get that clear. Assassin's Creed, same thing. So
okay. So for example, right? If we said Madden, we can do specific Madden, right?
If you want to do, honestly, I thought about it. We could do a specific year. If you want, yeah, because as much as it would be better if we had maybe if DJ came on, but I wanted to give Cruz the open mic. And obviously, I didn't know how much time he had with us today. So if it was college football, it took over the entire hour. But yeah, so you get to pick a game, and pick a year, and we'll go from there. All right.
All right. Bet. Let's see. Give me. So it's sports, right? Sports is first.
Sports is first.
Madden 12. I love that. That was the last
good. Hillis. No, I was gonna go Madden. I think Madden 25 was the last great Madden, but no, Madden the OG with Barry Sanders on the cover. Yeah.
You did like Madden 09 too.
Brett Favre.
Yeah. So for me, I have 2 games in my head. Both are probably games you only played if you were Jared or my age. Mm-hmm. But I had to go back and forth between which one I love the most, and I had to go with NBA Street. And more specifically, I think I had to go with NBA Street Volume 2.
Dang.
Street, dude. There's just something about
Elite
21.
Elite games, kids.
Dude, there's just something about hitting just getting that swoosh or that dunk and then the rim explodes.
Yeah, I will literally, if we're in a Belliot meeting and we're waiting to join, if I'm down here in the meeting, I have my Xbox right here. I will be playing NBA Street half the time.
Such a great game. I hope they revive that one day.
I do too. The Xbox 360 one they had actually was pretty fun too. All right. I am going to go with MLB The Show 21 with Fernando Tatis on the cover. That was the first baseball game to return to the Xbox in over 13 years. and it was amazing. It was everything I dreamed of. I played that game for probably almost 100 hours. I bought it outright. I was so excited to buy it. I was happy as can be. I bought it at release. I couldn't wait. The significance of being able, the last baseball game that was available for Xbox was MLB 2K13 with David Price on the cover.
Yep. And I know that
we had to wait for 8 years to get a game back.
Yeah.
And then Xbox had to ruin it this year by making MLB 25 full price. Only for Xbox. It's already on sale on PlayStation. Losers. All right. I'm up next.
They're not making it for Xbox One, so I'd have to buy the next system up for it.
Yeah. I'm up next. Open world. I'm going to go with Dovahkiin and Skyrim. It is my favorite game of all time. I have beaten it 8 times. I've played probably 300 plus hours between both systems. I love that game so much. I've downloaded about 1,000 mods for it. I am missing. It's the only Funko I'm missing is the Dragonborn one. I've been trying to get a hold of it. It's actually really hard to find. So that's when I have a close second would have been Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I know or Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but like Skyrim to me is just one of those games I just can play on and on and on. I played Oblivion. I was not that big of a fan. It was an okay story. The graphics were cool. Matthew?
My open world, I'm gonna go Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Wow, going with the old school one. Hell yeah, I love it.
That was the one I grew up on. My first one I ever played.
Hell yeah.
Oof. Scare me for a second. Now you take mine. I can still say GTA, right? But just I can say
yeah, you can say GTA 5 if you want.
GTA 5 is mine. I love that game. It was my first time. I remember I played it when I was 15, 16, but I couldn't do the whole mission or do the whole game because I had younger siblings who were too young to watch the inappropriate stuff that was on there. I used to go to the strip club a lot, so that's probably
you don't admit that on camera, Nate.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's violation of bro code. All right, Nate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you're up next again. The next category is first-person shooters.
Yes, sir. Give me Valorant, man. I started playing it.
Wow.
It's fun, dude. I like it. It's different.
No, I have a buddy who plays it a lot. It's a fun. It's fun game.
I love watching the matches too online.
We have to do a graphic for this. I think this is gonna be a fun graphic.
Yeah, it will. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Valorant.
Let's go Cruz's. Did you keep Cruz's answers down or no?
I'll go back and look for him.
Yeah, just give him CFB 25 and give him Kingdom Hearts 14 or whatever. Actually, you know what? No, we'll put him off later because I feel like because he didn't give us specifics because he was in a rush. Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew, your favorite first-person shooter?
I'm doing a lot of classics. Halo 1.
Wow.
It's just those ones that you grew up on. Because so here's a background. For me, a lot of these games, I grew up just overplaying the first generation of the games. And then I wasn't the kid that upgraded his system every single time it came out. So I played a lot of those old games a lot. And by the time the new games came out and then the third one came out, I then just upgraded my system. And then at that point in time, I was looking at
I feel you, dog. I feel you.
So yeah, the first Halo for me.
I love Halo. I'm gonna go with Call of Duty World at War. I played this game to no end. I think it's the highest prestige level I ever went in a Call of Duty. It was the first-person shooter I ever owned. Like, it had online play. My favorite guns were the BAR. It's my favorite gun in real life. One of my favorite guns in real life. And I loved the I think it was the sniper, one of the sniper rifles. I think it was the Moisen the guy. Anyway, played that with my friends in 8th grade all summer when I was doing travel baseball. I had a blast with it. It was just good memories from my childhood. Like I'd watch MTV in the morning. Like I'd watch SportsCenter, play Xbox until about 2, watch MTV jams with all the rap music videos and stuff until about 3, get picked up for baseball and go. And it was a blast. So great memories of this game.
So do you got RPG now, or?
Oh, that's right, RPG. This is hard because I didn't really play that many RPGs, so it's kind of like, I guess honestly, this game counts because it is an RPG. It's just it leans in the open world. I'm gonna go Fallout 4. I liked Fallout 4 a lot. It was my introduction to the game. I think and to clarification, I think Fallout New Vegas has a better campaign, but Fallout 4 was like my introduction to the RPG kind of genre. I didn't play a lot of them as a kid, so I am definitely enjoying it now. Oh wait, no, never mind. No, sorry. Witcher 3. That is my RPG. Witcher 3 by a mile. Sorry, I completely spaced for a second. Love Witcher 3. Geralt of Rivia, awesome. DLCs are amazing. That also, by the way, it technically counts as Polish mythology because it's written by a Polish author. So cool stuff. Or at least it's Polish fiction. Anyway, so yeah, RPG, that is my pick. So Matthew, your favorite RPG?
I think I'm gonna go with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
That's not an RPG.
That's not an RPG?
No, role-playing game. Like you make choices and it affects the outcome of the game.
Oh, that's what RPG was. I thought.
Yeah, like I said, Knights of the Old Republic, like stuff like that.
Oh, I thought it was a game you had to blow people up.
No.
All right. So hear me out. This is technically a game you got to make decisions on. Well, I'll clear it with you if this counts. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. There you had storylines. You had to make decisions. If not, I'm going with GTA San Andreas.
I'm gonna pull up a list of RPGs.
I had a struggle trying to find an RPG game for myself too.
Games of all time. Okay, I'll list these off. We'll take a second to list these off because I know the classification gets weird. All right, so like Final Fantasy, Baldur's Gate. What else we got? Elden Ring, Witcher 3, Cyberpunk, Mass Effect, Fallout New Vegas, the Dragon Age series, Hades. So, did any of those ring a bell to you guys?
I did not play any of those games.
I mean, I'll say mine, but obviously I'll say mine after Matt because I don't want to.
Matt, if you really want, I can give you GTA San Andreas.
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll put an asterisk next to it. Not really an RPG, but Matt didn't play much RPGs.
Yeah, no, I was not one of those kind of guys. Oh, wait. What about the Star Wars games?
Oh, Knights of the Old Republic? Yes, that was like considered something great. So we go to Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, we're going with that. I just saw that pop up, and I just immediately got flashbacks of like 20 years ago.
Dude, I think I said that in the intro to this segment, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, Matt's going with Knights of the Old Republic, Darth Rev, and the GOAT.
Yes.
All right, Nate.
Yeah, give me Elden Ring. I haven't played it a lot, or if at all, but I see one of my good friends play it. It seems fun, and it's a popular game, so I'll take that one.
Also, Bloodborne counts as an RPG, by the way.
Don't even know what that is, but we ball.
Technically, Elder Scrolls counts as an RPG, but I was like, it's also an open world game too. But Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, number 2 all time. All right. Finally, wild card. Any game genre, any game, any title, any year. It could be Pac-Man for all I care.
Give me Marvel Rivals. This game, it's a popular game. I've been playing it a lot
it's
more.
It's addicting.
It's fun. I'm Thor. That's my
yeah.
character. That's my character.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, man. I like causing happy.
My love of Thor.
Yeah.
I got Stormbreaker right here.
It is lethal in the game. I love it.
Hell yeah.
It's fun. So give me Marvel Rivals for mine.
All
right. This is when I'm going to choose WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain from like 2004 or 3. That was probably the greatest wrestling game that they came out with, minus like 2K12. I don't know. You had to have grown up in that era and played that game. That was just probably the most fun I've ever had playing a WWE game. It has not matched it since. But I got to take that game. I overplayed that game to the max.
Hell yeah. All right. And last but not least, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, the movie game. One of the best hack and slash games ever made. And also the GOAT of movie video games. Not even close. I think Spider-Man 2 is the only one who can touch this.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Korner Booth Pregame. Want to thank our boy Cruz Oxenrider for coming on today, talking some college ball. If you want to see more of our content, obviously follow us at Korner Booth Pod. Shout out to our sponsors. Candidates promo code BLACK20 for 20% off your purchase at checkout. Official sponsor of the Korner Booth, the KB Draft, and Belly Sports. You want to also check out some great meat snacks today. I had the South African blend. It's dill and cracked pepper. Phenomenal. Of Righteous Felon. Check them out. Promo code BLACK15 for 15% off at checkout. And last but not least, the official sponsor of the tickets app of the show. You want to go see a game? Use SeatGeek. SeatGeek. Promo code Belly Sports for $20 off your first initial purchase. Trust me, extra $20 is really great. Knocks out all the fees. It's a great value. Some restrictions may apply, and it is also only eligible for your first purchase through the app. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have an amazing day and an amazing night and a great weekend. 4th of July is coming up. So we will have a show next Thursday because it'll be the 3rd of July. We'll kind of give you guys updates. I believe we're not missing any shows because it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday is 4th of July weekend. So I think we should be fine. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Crack a beer for me. It's supposed to be nice, at least up here in the Northeast. The heat wave finally broke. God bless. And see you Monday. Nate, anything else to add?
No, sir. No, sir. We all good.
Shout out to the GOAT of UFC, John Jones, retiring.
I was still kind of sad to bring that up. So,
and Wander Franco, you're weird as heck. All right, bye.
What the hell? Damn it, Nate.
What?